In 1654, a depressed English aristocrat named Philip Aylesford leapt to his death from the battlements of Diddington Manor. He was 35 years old. He died a broken-hearted man, tormented by the execution of his lover, wrongly accused of witchcraft by his own jealous wife. For over 300 years, Philip's spirit was quiet. He did not haunt any corridors, nor did he clank any chains. He did not speak to anyone, and there's a very good reason for this. Philip Aylesford never existed.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Beth.
And this is Folkloric. So ghosts.
Well, something very akin to ghosts. I don't know. It's very hard to say what this actually may be. There's a lot of theories, and there's a lot of pseudoscience.
Oh, yeah. I just feel like we switched hats this week with you being the more skeptic of the two and me being the more believer. I feel like with my research and your research, we've switched.
We've definitely switched on what we're looking into, and I think that's okay because there are times where I believe more than you do.
Well, here's the thing, though. My research doesn't change what I believe. I just found it to be really interesting what other people theorize ghosts are or why people see them, where you are going for creation of ghosts, per se.
Sure. And in some ways, yes, I actually think I am going with more of a believer status in this. Not for this experiment, but for things that may spring from it. And we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So as I said, the Philip experiment is one of those very strange cases in parapsychology. Not because it claims to prove ghosts exist, because that's not what it's doing, but because it may suggest that you can create them.
Okay.
And it is, if you watch any of the videos on it, it is very strange because it seems very hodgepodge.
Okay.
It just seems like a group of people that are probably a little high and probably a little bit bonkers. And none of them have expertise in what they're doing except the people who are heading it up. And I don't know how much expertise they actually have.
Yes.
So in the early 70s in Toronto, Dr. George Owen and Iris Owen of the Toronto Society for, I think it's psychical research.
Yes, psychical.
Psychical research.
I hate that word.
I know.
It's so hard to say.
No, it's not that. It's just I kept saying it and I kept seeing it and I wanted to say physical.
Yes.
But my eyes are swimming because I'm very tired tonight.
We both kind of are, aren't we?
We have been very busy the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
And we've had a hard time even researching.
Yeah.
Just because we've had so much going on.
Hey, I did good. I didn't research at the last minute this time.
Neither did I. But
it was the day before. Thank you very much.
I didn't have time. I had to do it in between work.
I know.
So they set out to test a radical idea. Instead of asking whether spirits of the dead return to haunt the living, they asked something far more unsettling, which is, what if ghosts are not dead people at all?
Okay.
What if they are projections of the living mind?
So that kind of does go with my research.
Well, that's kind of what they found out. And we'll get into that. That's fine. I don't want to jump ahead.
I know.
So the working theory is that poltergeist activity, which we did on our other podcast, Cozy Cool Cinema, we did Poltergeist.
Yes.
So we actually talked about that movie. The knocks, the movements, vibrations may not be caused by spirits at all, but by concentrated human thought. If you want an example in film, let's say Slime from Ghostbusters 2, which we also did.
Yes, we did that one as well. Cozy
really
Quilt Cinema.
I'm really hitting on the other podcast.
Yes.
So.
Well, I mean, the theory is that with poltergeists, that it is, they're drawn to the energy of, usually it comes around preteen to teenage girls, but it can be, preteen to teenage boys. It's that they're going through all this turmoil of youth, as they're growing, and there's a lot of emotions, and that poltergeists are drawn to that, but it can be a manifestation of, which, I mean, that makes sense. It is a manifestation of those energies.
Right. Let me go into this really quick.
Okay.
In parapsychological language, this would be PK or psychokinesis.
Yes.
That knocking or the movements or being able to move things with your mind, that kind of thing. In Tibetan mysticism, it resembles a tulpa, a being that is generated through intense mental focus.
I do love talking about tulpas. I bring them up a lot.
And to do that, they needed a ghost they knew did not exist. They couldn't pick someone that may have existed. They had to invent someone. And that's where we get poor Philip, who, oddly enough, was cheating on his wife, which is kind of messed up.
Kind of messed up, man.
I don't know how poor Philip was. I feel bad for the women, the fictional women involved. Both of them.
And was the castle real? Because that was a fun name for a castle.
No, I don't think that was real.
Because that was like,
I think they invented everything because they didn't want it to.
Yeah. Well, the name of the castle was so, to me, funny.
I know.
That it was almost believable. Sorry, Brits, but your names are kind of funny sometimes.
So they invented a person, and they invented a background for them, for him. In September of 1972, 8 ordinary individuals gathered in a house in San Francisco.
Real world. Real world, San Francisco.
In this case, it was real world, wherever the fuck this was. I don't know where this was. In Toronto. Real world Toronto.
Real
is what
world
this was.
Toronto. I actually auditioned for real world.
Toronto?
No, San Francisco. No, it wasn't San Francisco. It was L.A.
It wasn't the one with Puck?
No, it was before Puck. The one right before Puck.
I think I liked the one in L.A. I liked the L.A. one.
That was the one I had auditioned for, but I was a baby.
I did know the San Francisco one. I did know, like, the full story of it. I kept up with it.
Yeah, that was
wasn't because of Puck. It was because the three other people in the house.
The gentleman with AIDS. Yeah. That was such a, oh God.
And his 2 friends who
they
married.
I know.
They got married.
I loved that. But yeah, I mean, I watched the first season, so we are off tangent here, but it's
not
okay.
really, because these 8 ordinary individuals, they were not professional mediums. They were not self-proclaimed psychics. Among them were a former Mensa chairperson, an industrial designer, an accountant, a student, a housewife, and the Owens themselves.
Wow.
So whenever you have, I don't know, the researchers being part of the experiment, you know things have gone very badly. This is an Abed situation in community.
Oh, wait. Are you on the right podcast tonight?
I don't know. I think I need to have several podcasts. So their first step was to create this person.
Yes.
So they had to create them. They wrote the biography. They named him. And this is one of the things when you have intent and you're going to cast a spell. And I want to put this in your heads. So think about this experiment and what it's intending. And think about the fact that these people are getting together to do this all together. And they're all focused on one thing. Even if it's to them silly, it does not matter how they feel about it. What matters is Well, number one, they gave him a name.
They gave him a name.
Giving something or anything a name or anyone a name is power.
Shit, I name everything.
Yeah, it's a power.
I literally give inanimate objects names.
So Philip, they decided, was born in 1624 in England.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided he was an aristocrat, because why not? He was a supporter of King Charles II, and he was a cavalier.
Mm-hmm.
He was trapped in a loveless marriage to a cold, cruel woman named Dorothea.
I like that name.
One day, riding near his estate, Diddington Manor.
Diddington.
It just sounds like they're going to diddle someone. It's like Diddington Manor. This is going to be a sexcapade. He met a Romani woman named Margot.
Oh my God.
It's horrifying, really. He fell in love and secretly moved her into the gatehouse.
This is like historical fan fiction.
This is historical fuckery, is what
It
this
really
is.
is.
Dorothea discovered the affair, and she accused Margot of witchcraft.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Margot was burned at the stake.
Holy shit, that was extreme.
Margot didn't even get to live in the main house. She had to live in the
No.
gatehouse
Poor Margot.
as some doxy for poor freaking Philip.
Damn it.
I don't like it.
No.
So Philip, who was racked with guilt and too cowardly to intervene, threw himself from the castle walls in 1654.
Okay.
It was tragic and dramatic. That's what you need for a ghost,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I guess so.
And it was very gothic, except for the Diddington Manor part.
That is weird.
And of course, it was completely fictional. And there's no record in the history of maybe it is true. Diddington Hall may be a real thing, not
Okay.
Diddington Manor.
Oh.
The researchers checked, they visited the site, nothing. They drew his portrait, they memorized his story, they discussed his personality, and they debated his motives. I watched several videos, and a lot of them alluded to the fact that Diddington Manor was fake.
Okay.
So that's why I went with that. They gave him emotional texture, which is to be a cowardly asshole. So I guess that's the thing.
I like that, though. Emotional texture.
Yeah, and they made him real inside their own minds because they started visualizing him. They started using intent.
Yes.
And for nearly a year of this experiment, nothing happened. They sat in bright rooms, methodically concentrating on Philip. And they attempted to visualize him into existence. It was at the time that they started this, it was all very clinical, very controlled, and utterly silent. Now, these are not, if you look at the videos, you're not seeing that part of it. You're seeing a much later part of the experiment.
When they've all lost their shit from sitting in a room for...
When they have broken into the velvet bag of Crown Royal and have decided that this is enough bullshit and we're not playing bridge anymore, we're playing strip bridge.
we went from smoking a little weed to about like 8 dabs of fucking LSD.
Something like that, yeah. I've never done LSD that you can prove.
I was there.
Don't be outing me. You can't do that.
I think isn't there a statute of limitations after 20-something
I don't
years?
think there is a statute of limitation. There might be a statute.
Leave me alone. I'm tired too. Statute.
I like the idea of a statute of limitations.
I do too.
It's just a guy going this far. He's got his hands up going, this is as far as you can go. That's
just a little bit. Just the tip.
That's just the tip of it. Oh my God. So maybe they were being too analytical. Maybe it was too self-conscious. So Dr. Owens proposed a change. And Dr. Owen is we're talking about the man,
yes,
George.
He broke out the hookah pipe.
Well, in a way, they dimmed the lights. They gathered around a card table, and I'm suspecting...
There was a Ouija board.
There was no Ouija board.
Oh.
Although I don't know why they wouldn't do that. They should have.
They should have.
But maybe they didn't want to bias the
They didn't want to open up the door to something else to come through and then disrupt. How can they prove that it was their Philip? It could have been something lying, because that's
it.
Yeah.
So anyway, he changed it up.
Mm-hmm.
They sang songs like "Row, row, row your boat" and 99 bottles of beer on the wall.
What? That doesn't make sense.
They told jokes. They recreated the chaotic, emotionally charged atmosphere of Victorian seances. They did the production.
Oh.
They made it.
Okay. The spiritualist movement.
Right.
Okay.
They redid that.
The rapping and...
This was all about them trying to recreate the feeling of the things that they believed caused them in the first place.
Pepper's ghost in the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, just a little slab of whatever transparent thing they could find.
Yes.
Ice or glass, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, when they were doing this, to their surprise, the table moved.
Okay.
And at first, it was just like vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And then, a knock.
Uh-huh.
It was hollow, distant rap from within the table itself. And then one of them asked, "Philip, is that you?" People they were so involved in this, they completely bought into their own thing.
And that's why it worked.
And when they asked Philip, "Is that you?" another knock. And they decided, well, tell us if one knock for yes and two for no.
I was literally
that is the standard operating procedure for everything. Ghosts, snails, whatever it may be. It's one knock for yes, two for no.
Or blinks.
Yes, but it's one for yes, two for no. Over the following months, what began as subtle sounds escalated into something pretty crazy. Through coded knocks, Philip answered questions. He confirmed the biography they had written, which I just think this ghost was fucking with them and lied.
I mean, there's that possibility.
It's just Casper's like giggling in the corner. But when asked questions they themselves had not previously decided on, Philip hesitated or gave these vague or uncertain responses, as though only he knew what they
already knew. Yeah,
what they knew. He didn't know more than that. But he displayed personality traits.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he hated Dorothea.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
bitch,
don't kill my doxies. When her name was mentioned, the table would scrape violently against the floor. And when asked if he liked the group, the table tilted towards them affectionately.
Oh.
Now, I don't know how if you tilt a table affectionately, but apparently that's how they felt about it. The table slid across the room without visible force. It chased participants. In one of the documented sessions, it reportedly lifted off the ground while participants' fingertips rested lightly on its surface.
Okay.
And here's another thing about this. Philip mirrored their emotional states. So if they were playful, he was playful. If they were tired, he appeared weakened.
Okay.
He behaved less like a ghost, or what you would think of as a ghost, and more like the externalized group psyche.
You know what this sounds a lot like?
Airwolf?
Nandor Fodor.
Yeah, there you go.
And the mongoose thing.
Yeah.
It sounds almost exactly like this.
You can explain it if you want.
So Nandor Fodor, besides having like the most crazy and lovable name, I just love it so much. I think he was a parapsychologist, honestly. I don't remember exactly what he did, but he had heard about this talking mongoose. And he travels to, I think it was in Scotland, and he investigates. And this family has this quote unquote talking mongoose. And it like, it knows things. It knows what's going on in the town. It knows, it comes down to possibly being the teenage daughter being able to throw her voice.
really well.
But they don't, the mongoose disappears. It doesn't come back. There's just a lot to it. But he did try to investigate it. He wanted to believe. I feel like he wanted to believe that it was real, but it was impossible to disprove when you have no proof to begin with.
True enough.
Mm-hmm.
So for this group, the experiment reached its climax when the Canadian television program, The Man Alive, came to film a session.
Mm-hmm.
There was a concern that Philip might freeze up under studio lights. Instead, he performed. So he
was in his glory.
He was following the group's psyche.
Mm-hmm.
The table rapped loudly on camera. It moved, it tilted, it reportedly lifted inches from the ground before a live audience. The footage itself seems unsettling at first.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it several times.
Yes.
And not because it proves, that the afterlife exists, but because
it doesn't really
suggests that the human mind may have greater capabilities than we understand.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, though, the novelty faded as the group became increasingly aware that Philip may simply be a projection of themselves.
Wow.
They kind of got over it.
Took them long enough.
I know. Well, I mean, imagine you've done this thing for a year. You've sat like Abed
mm-hmm.
in a room doing nothing, just thinking.
That's true.
Just trying to conjure it. And then for like a couple of months, you get some amazing results and you're having a lot of fun and you're really invested in it.
True.
And then you realize after this TV program, after this TV program, you just look foolish and you have this isn't a real ghost.
So you combined Abed in his I am Jesus moment also with his Imaginarium.
Sure. I really meant just he was sitting in that room.
The Imaginarium, yeah.
No, in the room for the experiment.
Oh God, I wasn't even thinking about that one when Troy crawls out.
Yes.
Oh my God, I wasn't even thinking about that one. I missed the Soul Train Awards for this. We are bad people.
I know, we're not good. So, because the novelty faded, the group became, despondent over the whole thing.
Yeah.
The sessions became erratic. They just couldn't really do anything with Philip because they just stopped believing in him. They stopped believing in their ability to make a ghost. So Philip weakened.
Mm-hmm.
And so the researchers attempted to replicate it. They formed a new group. Did you know about this?
No.
Okay.
I didn't even know about Philip. I'm not quite sure how I missed that one. I know who Nandor Fodor is, but I didn't know who Philip was.
If you didn't know who Philip was, now I'm gonna introduce you to another ghost. They created a new fictional ghost, and this one's name is Lilith.
Ooh.
A French-Canadian spy from World War II.
Oh my God.
And guess what? She responded.
Of course she did.
And then they tried it again with a medieval alchemist.
Okay.
And it worked again. Every time they did this.
Okay, so it's definitely... The human brain is made up of water and electricity. I mean, it's not impossible to think.
And fats.
And it's not impossible to think. I mean, you got to have the fats. Otherwise, what's lubing it? I mean, you need to have the brain grease. But yeah, I mean, it just makes sense that would be when you've got people all thinking the same thoughts, that the universal mind exists.
True. And I think that there are several things that could be happening with all of these experiments.
Drugs.
Do you know about the ideomotor effect?
No.
The ideomotor effect is like the same unconscious muscular movement that explains Ouija boards.
Okay.
So participants are unknowingly applying these micro movements to the table. So those subtle pressures are amplified by group expectation.
I didn't know that that's what it was called.
Yeah. The knocks, the movements are all self-generated, but not consciously so. So even though they're doing it, they're not lying about it.
Yeah.
They don't realize they're doing it.
Yeah.
Because they're suggesting it to themselves.
As opposed to the spiritualist movement where they would literally either crack their toe knuckles. I think it was the Fox sisters.
Yeah, it was.
And then, there's ones who would actually like take their feet and like knock them, like and hit the floor and stuff. There's just the spiritualist movement is fascinating as it is weird.
Well, I think anytime you have epic boredom and a lot of laudanum.
It's the laudanum that gets you.
I don't know if it was laudanum.
No.
But I think that
I don't know. The Fox sisters got a little fucked up.
Well, when you're bored and put into effect that, or take into account that most of these are women in untenable circumstances where they have no rights.
Yes.
They have no lives outside their fathers or their husbands, and they're going to be basically sold off to the first guy who wants to marry them.
Yep.
This is their power.
Yeah.
It's the power that they have.
I mean, yeah. And, witchcraft.
True. So basically what it comes down to is this experiment was elaborate psychological role play. And there was a feedback loop of suggestion, expectation, and of course, unconscious action.
Yes.
Because we had the knocking and the table movements. There's another interpretation to this as well, which is the parapsychological one. The group created a thought form, a tulpa.
I was going to say, because I mean, you mentioned it in the beginning, tulpas, but that's what it sounds like, is they created a tulpa.
I mean, it is a possibility. That concentrated intention, the emotional, energized physical force, that PK of it all, not a spirit of the dead, but an artificial ghost powered by the living.
Yes.
Kind of a spiritual homunculus.
And as with most of things like that, once you give it power, if you keep feeding into it, is when it's going to get stronger and stronger. Or like you were saying, that they kind of lost interest in Philip got weak.
Right. So you have to keep powering it. And they weren't doing anything with it. They weren't expanding beyond that. They did the thing. Then I think they got attention. And that attention soured it for them.
Yeah.
Because that's when things turned. And of course, they had to get a new group and then another group and then and so forth. So when we're talking about these ideas of older myths, the echoes of like the homunculus or magical constructs like a golem.
Yes.
These things are formed by concentrated will or powers from beyond, power of a god, whatever it may be. There are these parallels between science and philosophy, that spontaneous generation, once championed by Aristotle, claimed that life could arise from non-living matter. Of course, that was later debunked by Louis Pasteur, who says, don't drink fucking raw milk. So modern science still grapples with the abiogenesis, the origin of life from non-living chemistry. In cosmology, thinkers like Stephen Hawking have suggested that the universe itself may have arisen from quantum fluctuations from nothing.
Okay.
So across disciplines, one question just keeps coming up. Can complexity arise from emptiness? Or perhaps more unsettling, can consciousness generate reality?
Hmm.
So there are Eastern philosophies that describe the existence as Leela,
Mm-hmm.
which is a cosmic game in which consciousness manifests the universe itself.
Okay.
And if that's true on a grand scale, then what happened in Toronto may have been a miniature version, not a haunting, but a creation.
Okay.
It doesn't really explain the weakening of Philip. If it's a creation,
Why
then
wouldn't it have been
it's
stable?
then
Yeah.
it's self-existing, right?
Yeah.
Or perhaps because they were done with Philip, Philip traveled on. Maybe he's haunting some Diddington Manor right now.
You know, that makes me think of, once again, a reference to Psych. But remember, was it Didding? Wasn't one of his friends named in his a cappella band, a cappella group?
Oh, yeah, no,
It's like,
maybe
yeah, something like that.
that is a possibility.
So no, that is weird. Like, if it was created, but when you mentioned Aristotle, that kind of also reminded me, when he believed that, life came from nothing. So didn't he do the experiment with the raw meat in the sealed jar and the flies?
The maggots.
Yes,
Yeah.
because they was probably already infested into the meat to begin with, and yeah,
Correct.
I thought that's what that sounded very familiar.
That is true, and it has been debunked.
Well, yeah,
of course.
because that's where it came. There was already something in the meat before you sealed it into the jar.
Sure.
So that's where you're not getting nothing from something.
They didn't
or
have
something from nothing.
microscopes back then. So.
No, they did not. It was really difficult. You can only get so close with your eyeball.
Well, the unknown is just ignorance.
Yeah, it's true.
And you can always fix ignorance, and you can fix the unknown.
Yes.
You just have to change a paradigm, or you have to see it from a different way. And if they'd had the ability to use a microscope and see that, they would have seen it for what it is.
Yes.
Or maybe if they just cut into the meat.
Probably. Ew.
Little poltergeist moment there.
I know. Literally, that's what I'm picturing in my head. It's like the worst scene.
So if the ideomotor effect explains it, then reveals just how proud, and it kind of reveals how, oh my God. So if the ideomotor effect explains it, then it reveals just how profoundly our unconscious mind can influence physical reality.
Mm-hmm.
And it can do that without our awareness.
Yes.
So always be casting, I guess. I don't know.
Always be manifesting.
That's right.
Bitches.
If the tulpa hypothesis holds even a fragment of truth, then it suggests it's not confined to just the inside of your mind.
Mm-hmm. I need a clip of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Tulpa?
Yes, doing it's not a tuma, but saying tulpa instead.
It's not a tulpa.
It's not a tulpa.
I can't
even do it. Nope, I just sound like I'm from New York.
I don't know what I sounded like, but it's probably something southern.
But that's all I could think of.
Either way, the implications are staggering because Philip is not a ghost of the past. He is a story, a narrative.
Okay.
He is a fiction. He is collectively believed into motion.
Yeah, that's I get.
But there are examples of this now. We have those examples right now. The Slender Man.
Oh yeah, you're right.
We have a lot of different ones.
I mean, even the possibility that the Mothman could be a part of that as well, because again, didn't exist before a certain point.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the cryptids that we can experience in lore could be all these collective creations of humans. believing in this one thing. I'm not going to say the name.
No.
Not going to say the name of the thing.
No, please don't.
But Native Americans,
Mm-hmm.
they have a belief
Yes.
in the holy people who had messengers, and those messengers stayed behind.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them did. And they became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
What could change forms,
Yes.
stuff like that. And so those kinds of things could also be that creation.
Yes.
If you have a firm belief, a cultural firm belief, you could be creating them without knowledge of your creation.
And honestly, I feel like it's probably for the best that that a lot of people are so skeptical about that stuff. No, because think about when I was teaching middle school, there was a creepypasta that was going around, and it was like, it was Momo, and it's not a real thing. Now, there are other things that have the same name, but it's not this one thing. And they were like, oh yeah, if you watch this video, if you do this thing, then it's going to come at you, and da-da-da-da. And so for me, I'm glad, because the thing is horrifying, and you don't want this thing to exist in real life.
Yeah.
The fact that I even know what it looks like and it's in my head, it bothers me enough,
Someone says creepypasta, I'm thinking, scary spaghetti.
I know. I hate that creepypasta thing. When my son first said it the first time, I was like, ew, what the fuck are you talking about? Wait, are you talking about the Pastafarians? Or there used to be a really cool game. It was like an RPG, but it was really basic. And you were basically in this world of pasta, and it was black and white. And I think I was a pasta Marian or something. No, pasta.
Oh, I remember that.
Remember
it was like
that?
a mud, right?
I think it was.
Yeah, it was like an MUD.
It was so stupid, but I loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what made me think of.
I had to spell it out so that people understood I wasn't just saying mud.
Pastazician or something like that. It was a magician pasta, person. Something like that.
It's not the flying spaghetti monster? That's a different thing.
That's a different thing.
So what do you have on this?
So again,
give us your hits.
So a lot of what I have goes along with what you talked about to a certain degree. There is a scientist who, I'm going to say that term loosely, because see here, I am the believer. I believe in what I have seen in my life. I didn't go actively looking for it, so I know I didn't manifest it. Do I believe it exists because of some of the things that maybe I can tick off when I get to my 7 points of why people see ghosts? Yes. But at the same time, I may be susceptible, but I also genuinely believe in what I've seen. But okay. Dr. Chris French, he is the head of the Anomalistic Psychology Research Unit at London's Goldsmiths University. Now, I did not look up to see if any of that was real, but I wished I had now, because now I'm questioning this motherfucker. Okay.
This sounds like something the Ghostbusters would be based in.
Oh, my Lord. So he does...
Harvard.
He does research, psychology behind the paranormal kind of a situation.
Sure. Why not?
He actually calls himself, he's a self-proclaimed wet blanket skeptic.
Aw. Just like me.
Yeah.
I'm a wet blanket skeptic. I am very skeptical of wet blankets.
I mean, they're just nasty. So he talks about how...
I don't think that's water. Very skeptical.
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. I'm very tired.
I just realized I'm slow on the uptake that you meant pee. I had already switched gears, and I had to go back. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm derailing your conference.
It's okay.
Here.
It's okay. The loopiness, it makes us entertaining.
Sure.
So he believes that most ghostly visions or visits they can be attributed to sleep paralysis. That's his first
that's a good one.
boom. Yes.
Yeah.
So when people are in, when we're sleeping, we have that rapid eye movement, that REM, losing my religion. And he says that, our bodies, it's true, because our brain will prevent our body from moving.
Right.
It's a protective thing. You don't want to be thrashing about. I mean, I'm pretty sure Beth would be black and blue if I thrashed around as much as I probably would if I didn't have that control.
That is true.
So the thing is that sometimes when we're waking up, our brain hasn't fully woken up yet, and our body can't move. And that's what they believe is what causes the sleep paralysis, which feels like something is pushing you down. It feels like, because your brain does start to come online, but your body hasn't gotten all the messages yet.
Right.
So you have that pressure on your chest. And everybody who has had sleep paralysis most of the time have these same commonalities. There's definitely this feeling of something or someone in your room. And believe it or not, what I think is, this is something I would love to just do research on, just sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis demons. People seem to have the same few. Some of them have outliers that are like, holy fuck, what the hell happened to you in your life? But then there's one, they have like, the guy with the hat. There's always like there's a set group of them, and they always name them. I think that this is my sleep paralysis demon. Oh my God, that's horrifying. Philip, fuck you, you bastard. So
he's a cheating demon.
So according to the NHS, National Health Service in the UK, their website, a common symptom of sleep paralysis does include someone in your room and pushing you down. So Dr. French says, and I'm going to quote him here, sleep paralysis is kind of a glitch in the normal sleep mechanisms. It can be terrifying. One student of mine told me about waking up and there's a black cat by the side of his bed hissing at him, but it had an inverted cat skull and black goo dripping from its mouth. A little bit creepy. We have a black cat. I don't want to see that.
No, because we'd have to take her to the vet. That's messed up.
And we don't have that kind of money.
That is not how the cat skull should be.
No. And again, we don't have that kind of money. We don't have cat skull goo dripping money. Okay?
No,
we haven't set up our...
We don't even have that kind of insurance for ourselves.
So hallucinations that are reported as they're only reported in a small percentage of the sleep paralysis cases. But because it is relatively a common phenomenon, the small percentage that people, of people who have the hallucinations, only a small, it's weird that all of those percentages are ghosts that have been seen.
Right.
So there are two basic ideas as to why people see ghosts. One is that there are electromagnetic fields everywhere. The whole world is made of a giant electromagnetic field.
Okay.
And that can cause disturbances in our brains because, again, our brains are made of fats, water, and electricity, and some thinky thoughts. And some people don't even have that. But it can cause us to have hallucinations. Others say that sound can become a problem for humans, and that they hear certain sounds, and whether their bodies recognize it, your eyes actually begin to vibrate at certain megahertz or hertz. So let me go into a little bit of detail So a couple of things that French also said before I get into my 7 factors here is he believes that people who are more sensitive to seeing things, they obviously are going to be the ones who are going to pick these things up quickly. But there are people who report like a sensation in a weird room.
Yeah.
Only when it comes to the sound, when they figure out that it's a vibration or a sound in the room, 8% of the people who actually have unusual feelings about about the sounds,
Yeah.
because they don't know that that's what they're experiencing. That 8% of them actually have a terror from it.
I get that.
So it goes so deep. This is like to me, it's almost as bad as the brown sound.
Well, if you don't know what it is, what's causing it.
Oh yeah, your brain is going to be
your brain makes up things. It fills in the space.
So there are 7 mental and physical factors that we can use that I may not always agree with, but I see why they're saying it, can account for a creepy occurrence, per se.
Okay.
So there are the believers. I am one of them. Almost half of Americans think that ghosts are real. There was a market research by a company called YouGov that actually came up, people believe more in ghosts, but only 13% believe in vampires.
Okay, so my thing is, where did they do this market research?
And why was I not invited?
I think they did it in the malls. You know those people with the
Probably.
clipboards?
Oh my
used to
God,
have them?
yes.
I think that
I would bullshit my stuff.
I think they were using how do you feel about lipstick
Mm-hmm.
in order to get people into the
Do
room.
you like this shade?
And
Oh, you must believe in ghosts.
And then they ask you about, do you think that ghosts are real? And you're like, no, but I also like the pink shade.
That's funny. Okay.
That's a funny meatball.
So, ow. Dr. French also says that he's got a lot of quotes in this. Believers are a lot more likely to report anomalies and anomalous sensations. They are also more likely to conclude that those sensations indicate a ghostly presence. Well, yes, because they're believers. He's a good doctor.
But I would say that as far as belief goes, I don't have a great belief in ghosts in the traditional sense. But I do report things. I tell you all the time when I experience things, because just because I don't believe in a ghost,
yes,
doesn't mean I don't believe in something happening.
Well, okay, so my grandmother always said she didn't believe in ghosts because in her head, the way you describe a ghost is, the sheet kind of a ghost. She didn't believe in that.
It is very open to interpretation.
But that woman could tell you a ghost story that'd make your hair curl, and your hair's already curly, so it would be impressive. But she had experiences. My Nana had some shit happen in her life, and my great grandmother, oh my God, could that woman weave a tale. I wished I had a recorder and could have recorded her stories because I loved listening to them. But, she would not admit she was a believer, but yet she had those experiences. So, again,
she wasn't superstitious.
She's just a little stitious.
Yeah.
But she married my grandfather, who was megastitious. Uberstitious. So, Dr. French again says, we have such a tendency because the human mind is highly suggestible. We've evolved to take cues from the outside world to escape threats like an animal chasing us, so a well-placed hint can make us see things that aren't there. Which, yeah.
I mean, we see faces.
We do.
In everyday things. You see it in the bark of a tree or whatever. We will see faces or eyes
in trees and in
moths,
clouds, and
these are some are adaptations to deter predators, and others are just us making it up. We fill in the spaces.
Yeah, and I think it could go in a completely opposite direction where, we were talking about seeing things in the natural, but then we have the uncanny valley of when we see something that is obviously unnatural. Side quest. Do you know why we have that ick when we see something that is not quite human?
So we don't eat it?
We don't know why. It goes back all the way to early man. What the fuck did they see that made them have this fear that has genetically passed down through thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
That hasn't apparently. I mean, are there studies on the uncanny valley, and does everyone have that effect?
I don't know. I don't know if everyone has that
That's
effect.
something we can look into.
Yeah, because uncanny
Maybe that's
valley.
another topic.
Yeah, because that gets me. I have horrible uncanny valley when it comes to stuff like that.
I have minimal uncanny valley.
Oh, I mean, anything that is slightly just, I'll be like, that's not right. That's not right. That's not right.
I mean, I have a feeling of things that are not right.
Yeah, I got like freaking clang, shit going on in my head going, red light, yelling and yeah.
Yeah, don't really
telling me
that.
it's there. Don't go that way. Bad. So.
Mine is mostly, you can't eat that. So, mushroom, it's pretty. I should eat that. No, you cannot eat that. I have learned this over time.
From eating them.
It's not uncanny valley. It's just
food poisoning.
People telling me you should not eat that.
It's getting my stomach pumped. No. So, in the 1990s, psychologists at the University of Illinois in Springfield,
Missouri?
Again, bad research.
It's University of Illinois, so Springfield, Illinois.
But there's a lot of Springfields in the U.S.
Yeah, but University of Illinois suggests.
Oh yeah, well,
I
just read it.
I'm sorry, I was making a joke.
Tired, and I read it, and I couldn't even answer it.
I was making a joke. I was not trying to call you out.
And because as soon as I read the word Springfield, I'm thinking Simpsons, and I'm thinking, well, we don't know where that is exactly, right? Because we've never been able to identify which Springfield it is, and that's where my brain went. So they gave a tour of a century-old theater called the Lincoln Square Theater, and they brought two groups of people. They only told one of the groups that they were investigating a haunting, and the other one, they were just there to look for, just see what you see. You know? It was like, we're going to go.
Take a looky look.
Yeah. They were going to go on an excursion.
First one to find the pot gets high.
So the group that was told about the hauntings, they were the group that had intense emotions and strange occurrences happen. So
that's kind of that manifestation thing we were talking about.
And, this mental quirk is so powerful that it can really fuck with us in real time. So French, he had another study because Dr. French, he gets himself around. Where he had participants that were much more likely to witness a key bending on its own accord. And then they were standing next to somebody who, the only reason why they think that, so, sorry, let me do this again. There's two people. One of them is watching somebody trying to bend a key. The guy next to him's like, dude, I have seen him do this before. And then the first guy is like, oh shit, I see it happening. He had to have that suggestion.
Yeah, because the shill was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. So again,
it's a snake oil salesman.
And it's that belief. So Dr. French calls this phenomenon well, he doesn't call it this because it's a name for something else. The pareidolia. I'm probably saying that wrong. And it is supposed to explain how we perceive phantom voices in recordings.
Okay.
So, and this is I know in my psychology classes, they've had us listen to recordings of voices, and you have to say, tell them what we think we're hearing. And then they tell you something else. And all of a sudden it goes from green anchovy to she's smacking me or something like that. It's so you're all of a sudden you're hearing it when you can't hear the first thing you heard because you don't hear it anymore. Your brain it's also like the optical illusion of the girl the silhouette and you can make her turn one way in your head, but then when you can make it switch where it looks like she's going the other way, but you have the harder time to get it back to the way you were originally seeing her spin. You ever seen that one?
Right, because we generate patterns.
Yes. So, and it's the thing is that usually if a ghost hunter or some type of a psychic instructor tells you, listen for this, listen to this. I bet you they're saying, I died here. You're going to hear, I died here.
Yeah, it's the, what is it? The gold and white dress.
Yes, that fucking it was black and it was not. Oh.
It was blue and black, right?
No, it was actually, it was, I don't remember what the original color of the damn dress.
I think it was blue and something.
I don't know, but they fucked up the colors in the dress, and everybody bitched about what colors these dresses were, even though you could literally look at the original purchasable dress, that it wasn't the shitty picture that everyone was passing around.
It's because the contrast was off, but people started believing this, full force believing that it was only
dress.
One or the other.
Mm-hmm.
When it was just simply the contrast was bad.
Mm-hmm. So our brain tries to create these patterns, much like the faces. So another reason why we see ghosts, why risk it, is when I was a functioning Christian, and I say functioning Christian because so once upon a time when I was a functioning Christian, I used to have a theory about I had a lot of issues with religion back then, but when I would justify why I was a part of this religion that I barely had any grasp on because I was so disenchanted by it, I would say I would rather err on the side of caution. Why be wrong? You know, why not just believe in a heaven and a hell instead of like surprise later on in life, you know, once I'm dead and having. So that was my reason. It's kind of why I kept my grasp on Christianity for as long as I had. And that's not to say that I don't have a belief in an afterlife, because I really still do. I'm not the atheist, that is, Beth. I am. I believe there's a lot more out there, and there is an afterlife. I just haven't decided which one I think is real, and it really doesn't matter because I don't have any control over that once I'm dead, because, you know, I'll be dead.
I like that song.
Sure. Follow You Into the Dark?
No, In the Afterlife.
Oh, In the Afterlife.
Well, I like that one too,
yeah.
But yeah, that one's very swingy.
It is swingy. Scroll nut zippers are the best, man. So we, you know, so that's a lot like what they're saying here is, why risk it? You know, if you,
Sure.
it's better to not, it's better to believe than it is to not believe. And then again, that goes back.
Well, let me hit you with a different scenario on that. So if it is better to just in case it, should you not also just in case it for Zeus as well? Perhaps Odin as well.
I do. I don't worship them, but I believe in them. I believe they exist.
Yeah, I'm saying if you go through the motions for one god, then you have to start accounting for all the gods. Well,
that's part of why I walked away from Christianity, because I ain't doing that shit.
And then if you account for all the gods, you have to follow all those rituals, and some of those involve sacrifices.
I am going to follow the Greek mythology pattern of, if a stranger comes to my door, I will take care, and they're asking for help, I will do my best within safe boundaries to help them, because the Greeks always believed that you didn't know if a god was going to disguise themselves to come to your door, and if you turned them away, you would be offending the god. And I would not turn somebody away that needed my help, but do my best to give them what I could, again, within the safe boundaries of modern society that is a fucking cesspool of hate. So I would be pretty much playing roulette either way.
If that were to happen to me, I would immediately pounce on them and go, Kalia, I got you. Tag, you're it, and then I'd run.
Yeah.
But I think she'd enjoy that kind of game.
She might.
It's going to really confuse the person that got into a car accident. But on the off chance it's Kalya, then
Kalyach.
I'm not going to do that. Every time I do it, you make fun of me.
I know. So it's, in the daylight, it's easy for us to look around and go, yeah, ghosts aren't real. But then the dark comes and we can't see what's in the shadows. And our brains start wandering. What the fuck is sitting on that chair over there? I know I put a blanket on that chair, but fuck, it looks like a person sitting there. Oh God, there's a person sitting there. I know there's a person. I can feel a person sitting in that chair behind me. It's driving me, so your brain just kind of keeps building, because why risk it? Why? It's easier for us to believe in something and have it be nothing than to believe in nothing and then have it be something trying to fuck us up.
I mean, I've had that as a kid. I've done that, very thing where you're like, oh, I'm sure there's someone in the room sitting there. And all I could really think is, oh, you're afraid of my dad too?
Well, I mean, this is a survival instinct that we have that goes back to when, we were being hunted by animals and we had to be protected. We had to learn how to protect ourselves. So it was, again, you're walking through the woods, daylight or nighttime, and you hear something in the woods. If it's in the Appalachian woods, no, you didn't. But if you think you did, you have to think, am I hearing and seeing something, or is it in my imagination? Well, I'm not going to fucking get eaten by my imagination, so I'm going to think it's real, and I'm just going to wander that away.
Never step off the path.
Never step off the path.
Especially for a little light.
So, I know, never, because you never know what you're going to find. But see, now ghost tours tend to capitalize on that, the belief of...
I am very much against ghost tours. I despise... Well, not the tours.
So if it's a tour of a building, I would be like, I don't want to be in here.
I think they're annoying and they're kind of a waste of time for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like ghost hunters. I hate them. I cannot stand those TV shows.
Well, okay, don't get me wrong. They're entertaining in their own right. But there is a
how many ghosts are going to touch your butt? I mean, seriously.
That's Zach Bagans, and he's a twat, so we're not going to even talk about that. I love on the podcast, and that's why we drink, that the one host, she has at times been banned by him, blocked by him on when it was Twitter, and they will not even say his name right. They either call him Zach Bagels or they call him Zach Baggins.
Zach Baggins.
Yes.
No, that makes it too cute.
I know.
Bagel.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way.
Bagel.
I thought his name was Baggins for a long while. So he's
a proudfoot.
He's a piece of shit is what he is. But no, there are other quote unquote ghost hunters out there. There's these two guys, something in Cody, and I can't think of their names. The other dude's name. Their shit's pretty interesting. I can get behind.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're not really trying to do it to get the reaction from people that like the ghost hunters and the ghost adventurers that they're trying to get. These two guys are just like genuinely just trying to.
So it's a lot like watching the Proper People.
Yes, I do love the Proper People. And if you ever want to watch videos of a group of guys doing some urban exploration, it's the Proper People. Oh my God, love them. Just a chair chilling.
That's right.
And we digress.
You did. I did not do that.
So yes, a lot of the ghost tours or haunted mansions, they talk about how, oh, well, you're going to see, this is the room where the ghost appears in the mirror, and this is the one where the ghost appears over here, and and you're going to think you see stuff because your brain is prepped for it. Your brain is waiting for you to see shit.
Well, you've been suggested.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
got that suggestion now. And now it just sits there.
So a lot of it also, some of the fear factors comes up in certain types of architecture. So in 1975, a British geographer, J. Appleton, he realized that when it like our habitats, our human homes, tend to be places thought of as places that are safe only when they can offer us a clear view of the outside world and they are properly lit.
Okay.
And when you take those two things away, we have our brains immediately think it's going to be bad, it's going to be malicious, and it's going to be dark. Our brains are triggered and wired for dark and dusky and dreary immediately.
How much worse is that now that we have so much light in every facet of our lives and every area,
Mm-hmm.
except very rural areas? We're in rural areas
Mm-hmm.
right
And
now,
there's
but we
still
still have
light
a lot of
pollution.
light pollution. So when the power is out here,
Mm-hmm.
it is intensely dark.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And I'm not afraid of the dark.
Oh, but I am.
But even I'm like, this is too dark. This is too much dark because there's nothing, I have no way to gauge distance.
Yeah. And my friend Kelly always said, because she was not afraid of the dark. And she was always like, what's in the dark is the same things that were there in the light. And you should really be more afraid of that. And my response to that was, I can't see in the dark. I don't know what's there. So it's not the same as what was in the light because something could have crawled in there.
I just go around kicking everything.
We also lived in the desert and there were scorpions that would crawl into your bed. Now, when I got up in the morning, it wasn't there. So you can't go by that.
But scorpions are sleepy at night, so it's fine.
I don't
They
know.
just want to cuddle.
You can fuck off.
Wow.
So our third factor is lonely.
Okay.
So we tend to create things out of loneliness. And there's broken down into two different subcategories here of people who have lost a loved one tend to more likely than not see that loved one as a ghost. And also when they do have that encounter, they have shown to show healing. Like it was that closure that they needed of knowing that their loved one was in a better place or that they were okay. Now, again, I believe in ghosts. I also loved my grandfather. I loved him. Like my dad was not around and I loved my grandfather. I loved my Nana and I friggin' loved my great grandmother. But if any of them appeared in front of me right now, I am shitting my pants and crawling out this window. Okay? Because I know they're dead. And they have been for a while. So it would logic, again, what I know and what
I was picturing Gene saying a while.
A while. So it's again, that I get the lonely phase because it is true. There's been so many, and they related it to the phantom limbs.
Sure.
That, you feel this movement in a body part that is no longer there. You see this loved one that is no longer there and you're finding solace in it. But they also think that people who encounter abuse can also, that loneliness that abuse can cause also brings people to seeing entities, but it's almost like a way of connecting to something. Like you just said, oh, you're afraid of my dad too. So, the scientists were saying that
way to make it real.
hey, you brought it up and I hadn't even gotten there yet. But yeah, people who have been bullied and abused, they have also, like they're more likely to have what they called quote unquote paranormal fantasies.
I mean, not wrong.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just pretty interesting to say the least. In 1995, a survey that was done in the Journal of American Society for Psychical Research.
There we go. Psychical.
91% of the participants said their encounters had at least one upside, such as a sense of connection. So they had a connection to the entity because they could relate to it through their abuse.
I just want to say, I want to have a research
Mm-hmm.
name that is a cyclical psychical research.
I was literally going to say cyclical was another word that I think is fun, but yeah, it always kind of trips me up a bit. So 4 is that your brain just isn't right.
Hey,
I'm
my
sorry.
brain is as right as it can be.
So ghostly occurrences can be a problem with the fats, electricity, water of your skull cave there.
Are you trying to say the synapses are misfiring?
Yes, but also I have a hard time wanting to, as much as I do address that I have a brain, your brain is the only organ that is aware of itself, and that kind of fucks with me a little. Your brain is the only organ that knows it exists.
I don't know. My spleen knows it exists.
I think my liver knows it exists because that bitch is a bitch. Okay.
My spleen talks to me all the time.
So some people who hear voices or experience visions, and a lot of times that are not drug related, are schizophrenic.
Which is sad.
It is sad.
And it's dangerous for people to make light of schizophrenia.
Oh, no. Schizophrenia is very serious.
And it can happen anytime.
Yes. The only time it cannot happen is they do not diagnose it in young.
Sure.
I think under preteen, because
12,
your brain
I
is
think.
still developing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other things that could be going on. So some people who have had these issues, obviously have underlying brain disorders, and they tend to have a paranormal confrontation. And they do have them more intense than the average person would. These, but even people who do not have mental illnesses of any form, sometimes a change in brain activity can lead to having visions, which now we are going to talk about drug use, because magic mushrooms, LSD, things that are meant to make the serotonin or serotonin. Everybody says it differently.
I think you're right, though. I think it's serotonin.
I don't know, because there's I've heard people saying serotonin. And
I like saying serotonin because that's what I heard on commercials as a kid.
See, and I actually heard serotonin for a very long time, but it's probably very wrong. But either way, however you pronounce it, because I have heard it both ways. Sure. I got to use this reference, yeah. So, a legit
We're
one.
Not super tired at all.
No. So they so what happens when you take LSD? Now, I cannot speak for mushrooms or peyote or any other hallucinogenic, but I do know with LSD, because I have
stare at a
taken
candle for 12 hours.
And then in the morning, when you're sober, you've got splatters of wax all over your steam trunk coffee table. I'm speaking from experience.
I'm
wasn't
speaking
interesting.
from the same experience.
You weren't even there that night. No, you were in your own thing, right? Because I wasn't. We didn't trip together for my first.
Yes, we did.
Not my first time.
No, not your first time.
Not
but
my
my
first
first time, we did.
Yes, I know. I did not trip with you.
That was just me and Pat.
And
Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I stared at a candle. You made fun of me.
I made fun of all of y'all because I was pregnant and sober. And then I went to bed because I was like, fuck you. Moonwalking, giving everybody the finger.
And Dawn. He crawled into a cat box.
Because he was looking for the bathroom, and first he crawled into the closet where the hot water heater was, and then he crawled into our laundry room, which did connect to the bathroom, but he didn't make it all the way there.
And he fell asleep
in the litter box.
The litter box.
My cats were confused.
But he did find a bathroom of sorts.
So LSD, what happens is the chemicals in your brain get confused. The serotonin. So it's there to basically transfer messages from one part of your brain to another. But when you do the LSD, it goes, I don't know where I live anymore. And so it can be taking a color sense and bringing it to a smell sense or a music sense, and all of a sudden you can taste the music because your brain is going, I don't know what's going on. And this goes on but for about 8 to 12 hours, and about halfway through you're really wishing you could bottle up this Disney World in your brain, but unfortunately you can't. And in the morning you taste like you've chewed on tinfoil and you feel like buttered toast that had fallen on a dirty floor. But it was fun, and sometimes it's cathartic. I'm not trying to tell people to go out and do LSD because you can have a bad trip and it can fuck you up big time. But I've never had a bad trip. So I can't say. And I haven't done it in 20 years, so there you go. But people who utilize these drugs, again, could be, maybe that's why I see things, but I saw them before I ever did drugs. And they believe that can also, because that affects your brain chemistry. And can also cause you to have sleep paralysis, bringing that one back around. Many of the visions that people do see from the differences of what they have done to their brains can cause. So in 2018, the International Journal of Applied and Basic Medical Research stated that 8% of the general population and about 30% of people with psychiatric illnesses have reported having one type of, sleep paralysis nightmare at some point in their life. Many cultures also believe that they believe in sleep paralysis, and they give it different names. So like in Cambodia, it's called the ghost that pushes you down. And in Nigeria, it's called the devil on your back. So now we get into bad vibrations, which I mentioned earlier. And I'm going to kind of go a little bit quicker through this. That there was a British engineer called Vic Tandy in 1980s. And he was working in a research lab. And all of a sudden, he got this weird feeling. Now, his coworkers had said, there's some fucked up shit in that lab. You just got to, we just deal with it. We just kind of ignore it. But there's things in there, ghosty things. And he's getting like really paranoid. He's having terrors. He feels all of a sudden an ethereal presence. And then he's like, there's this gray apparition in the corner. But every time I go to look at it, it's gone. Well, here's the thing. Tandy isn't one to go, a ghost. He's like, I'm a scientist. There's got to be a fucking reason for this. So it turned out that there was a fan in the lab, and the fan hummed at 18.9 hertz. And 18.9 hertz can cause a slight quivering to the human eyeball. And this quivering will cause you to see things that aren't there. So it can also cause momentary panic attacks and people to hyperventilate. And it dwells in it's like this acoustic sweet spot that is known as infrasound, but it's also, and it's inaudible, but it can really fuck a human up. And when our human range, we bottom out at 20. So we can't hear that 18.9, but our body picks up the vibrations of it. So it's called the fear frequency, which I think is funny because we do have the brown sound and we have the fear frequency now. People like alliteration and rhyming. So we don't carry around a gauge to predict when these things are happening, but sometimes it happens when maybe our refrigerator starts to go on the fritz, and all of a sudden we're getting like a really weird feeling in our kitchen. There might be something in our kitchen. Now the fridge's fan is just like going shit, and it's just causing that vibration to happen. So wrong place, wrong time. That is our next really quick theme here. And it can be that you are in an area that has a history of having paranormal things happening, but they're not. So there's a place in Anson, Texas, that people believe that when you drove to the crossroads and you flashed your headlights, a mysterious flicker would flick back at you, and they believed it was an ill-fated mother searching for her child when you could see her lantern flickering through the woods. 2011, a group of skeptics with iPhones and Google Maps figured out that no, there's a highway on the other side of those woods, and you're seeing, because there's a bend in the road, and you're seeing the headlights flashing as they go past. So
seems like the best explanation.
It really is. But also sometimes the worst case scenario of wrong place, wrong time is when you are exposed to certain molds and pollutants. They can cause us to have these hallucinations. And we kind of touched a tiny bit on that one in our last episode with the dancing plagues and the ergot poisoning.
Yeah.
It can cause you to have hallucinations. There's a whole, and I'm not even going to even look at my research for this. Just look into it, guys. There are masses and masses of stories of people being, there's, oh, we have ghosts here, or there's bad things happening here. It turns out that the house has major issues. But also keep in mind, if you have unidentified, out of nowhere, triggered stress, anxiety, depression, or even some psychosis, you may need to have your house checked for molds, because they can creep in out of nowhere and they can cause a lot of issues.
Sure.
So let's go to the last little one here, my friends. Mind playing tricks. That is just like, we are so willing to let our brains take over, because again, it does know it's there. Research suggests that people who have seizures in their temporal lobe, this is the area that processes memory, visual memory, and spoken language, may trigger ghost sightings. They realized that the electrical disturbances in brains that happen with that type of a seizure happens a lot more. There's more clusters of them between 2 and 4 a.m. in the morning, which is also when most people experience supernatural things, is between 2 and 4 a.m. So our brains are just built to protect and to just fuck with us. So while I do believe in ghosts, I believe that a lot of this is, and I don't think I did that. I actually think I missed one of my points, but that's okay because I'm skimming through my notes really fast because we are really going long. But another interesting study was this one group of scientists. They did this machine where they you put your hand in the machine, and it was basically recording the movements of the people's hands, but they had a robot hand behind them because they're blindfolded. Now, if the thing touched them at the same time that they moved their hands, their brains went, oh, I'm doing that. If they set it off by a few seconds, where I'm doing this and then all of a sudden this, they were sure there was another person in that room with them. Because your brain, that's just that little bit of an offset made your brain like believe. So while we have scientists trying to create ghosts, we also have scientists trying to disprove ghosts and the evidence of what people are seeing. And again, I see where they're coming from with these points?
Well, I think it's important that in the end, they didn't disprove anything.
No.
They didn't disprove ghosts, and they didn't prove that they created one.
Nope.
They didn't even prove or disprove that they generated an entity out of thin air.
Yeah.
So we don't really know where we stand with that.
Where they stand.
What we do know is they got bored.
They got bored, yes.
They got tired of doing it, and they just, for them, it was an experiment, and they moved on from it. And they were able to repeat the experiment several times over. Whether or not it was them doing it subconsciously or unconsciously,
Mm-hmm.
or they actually created something, or something was there and responding to them.
Yes.
In the end, it doesn't matter.
No.
What matters is something happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's pretty cool, that you don't know everything.
No.
You're not going to come to a conclusion on this.
No, because even when you listen to all of the naysaying and the logicking of what the scientists were trying to disprove, because they weren't really even trying to disprove, they were just like, oh, well, this could be why you're seeing this, and this could be why you're and your brain is doing this. And yeah, it is interesting and it is crazy. But again, I am not trying to see people walking across our yard, and yet I have seen it twice and 2 different times in many, many years spans. I saw it when we first moved here, and I saw it a few weeks ago in different parts of the yard. So it's not like, I'm not actively thinking about seeing somebody. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But it's, come to your own conclusions. Because, if you're a believer, you're going to believe. And if you're not a believer, you're going to be a skeptic. I
don't know. If you're not a believer and it speaks to you, you may start believing.
Yeah.
I think keep your mind open to the possibility that you're wrong or the possibility that you're right.
Yes. So believe in it, even if it's not there, because it's probably better off than if it is there and you say, oh, bullshit.
That's your thing.
Yes, that's my thing, because that's how I keep my butt safe. This has been Folkloric. If you like what you heard and you have a tale or two to share, not just about today's topic, but any odd or scary story you'd like to hear us talk about, send us an email at folkloricpod@gmail.com or join us on Instagram and Blue Sky at Folkloric Podcast. Please make sure to follow and subscribe to Folkloric wherever you listen to podcasts.